Oh, you in all black today, Lord?
Yes, I am. Yeah, yeah.
All
Hello and
right.
That's because
welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Uncovered Conversations.
While we're waiting, just trying to see if I see all of the people. Yeah, I do.
I was gonna say, I think we're still on page one.
I see lots of people.
Good. I'm trying to get up to 50 today. Can we get 50 people on here today? I think we can make 50 today.
We usually make pretty close to 50, if not 50.
Yeah.
right.
So hello and welcome to Uncovered Conversations. I am the host for today. Master Joshua is out with bronchitis, so we wish him well and hope he gets better soon. I am Master Celestia. I'm joined with Sir Ren, Master Eli Ra, and Lord
Hello.
Sawago.
So I will
Um,
go.
I'm working on it, Sawago. I get it. I will get it one day. Um, and today's conversation topic is making healthcare issues and aging sexy, especially in a DS dynamic. So as we approach this topic, we have three questions that our panelists are going to go through. We ask that you hold all questions to the end, put them into our chat, and I will make sure to grab them at the very end of our questions and have our panelists take them on for you guys. So our questions today is one, how do you believe societal perceptions of aging and healthcare impact the ways these topics are approached within DS dynamics? And what strategies do you employ to challenge or redefine these perceptions in your relationships? Two, can you share any personal experiences or insights on how incorporating discussions and practices related to healthcare and aging has enhanced the intimacy and connection within your DS dynamic? And three, in what ways do you navigate the intersection of vulnerability and strength when addressing healthcare issues and aging within your DS relationship? And how do you maintain a balance that feels empowering for all parties involved?
All right. This is a loaded subject. I mean, this is the loaded topic.
Very much so loaded.
Yes. So we will start with question one. How do you believe
Wait,
society?
wait a minute. Hold on. We haven't taken our covers off to have the
We,
uncovered conversation.
we did. My bad. It's my turn to be in Master Joshua's role. The ceremonial removing of covers, gentlemen. You have to be my role today, Master Eli.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We got each other's back. We
Yeah.
we're covering each other
Yes.
here.
All right. So question one is, how do you believe societal perceptions of aging and healthcare impact the way these topics are approached within DS Dynamics? And what strategies do you employ to challenge or redefine these perceptions in your relationships?
I'll go first. So, I think that people in our community, from what I've seen, um, they feel I've seen people go into this mode where they age out. Especially when it comes to submissives, like they get to a point where they get older. I wouldn't even use the word old. I would say that they get so well seasoned that they stop doing the things that they desire to do. What I've noticed is that they will feel, I've seen people who are submissives no longer serve because they can't serve the way that they used to. I've seen D types um kind of clock out or age out because they don't have the patience or the yeah, I would say the patience or the time to put in. Life starts lifing, and the balancing of BDSM with their lifestyle, their life becomes more of their life and less of the BDSM. So they kind of clock out. And so it doesn't. I What I've seen is that people don't have that desire or that gump anymore. Um, I start seeing them turning. The first thing I start seeing is them turning in their gear when we have events, and they'll have a lot of stuff, and it's like one size. And my question is always, who did this belong to? Because they'll donate their things and just zap out of the community. You don't see them anymore. So yeah, when it comes to that, and then when it comes to the health care, you have to start putting things in priority. And when it comes to, if we have to be our better selves in order to be of service or to protect our S types, the priority becomes us taking care of ourselves first, and then taking care of those people that are in dynamics with us later. But if you put things in perspective in the beginning, it could last longer. And I guess we'll talk about that later. But that's what I've seen in the community, definitely. And I will pass it to Sir Ren.
Thank you. So society wants us to believe that if we're over 50, we're done. There's no sex, there's no life, there's no health, and definitely no BDSM or kink. And that's wrong. That's just completely wrong. For some people, that can be true. Can be true at 30 these days. People have serious issues, health issues, that may prevent them as early as 30 today. That's ridiculous, but it happens. So some of us that are older are fit, healthy, sexual, and kinky as hell. And that can last into your 60s, 70s, even older. And how I challenge that is by redefining these perceptions by proving them wrong.
Oh yeah.
Because I am in the over 60 category. Thank you. Lord, sir.
Every time you say over 60, I just trip out. I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's true. I got
I'm
carded
like,
the other day, though.
I
was
believe
carded.
it. I believe it.
For real.
I believe it. When it comes to the whole aging thing, I was one of those people that just I never thought about it. So for the longest time, I was in a public service type career. So it wasn't admissible to have facial hair except for a mustache. So for the longest time, I just had a mustache. So I would occasionally, even dye the mustache, but it wasn't much to dye. But I just had that I need to look younger aspect to it, even when it came to being leather and then BDSM. uh, and I will admit this, like some people, I know a lot of people don't want to admit it, but like some people, I look at people in the leather community, and then early on, I used to emulate them. If they were doing something, then it would give me confidence to do it. So, just being honest, Master Sable and Master Eli Raw, had beards, and they had gray in their beard. So I watched the two of them rock gray in their beard, and then I started rocking a beard. So if it wasn't for them doing it in front of me, I wouldn't have a beard now. I would still be doing the same thing. Although I'm no longer doing a public service type career, I saw them and was like, okay, this is okay. And then as I went into my 50s, it was I got hit with some health issues. I used to think of myself as being Superman, in particular the black Superman in my 20s. I'd jump over stuff, run over stuff, fall out of stuff, jump out of helicopters, you name it. Then I got 50 and I woke up and it was hard getting out of the bed. If I stumbled or something, ooh, my left leg hurting, my right foot hurting, and sit up and got to take BC and aspirin before you get out of the bed. So it got some of the stuff got difficult. And then ironically, I went back to doing Qigong again, which is a martial arts type of practice where it deals a lot with meditative breathing to get the oxygen to all of the parts of your body. So that helped a lot. But really, it was seeing other people that were showing up and showing out is what inspired me to continue on and be okay. It doesn't stop at 50. I can keep going. Plus, I enjoyed what I was doing. So I didn't see uh, it stopping. Ironically, I went into my 50s during COVID, so I didn't get the chance to celebrate a 50th birthday. I was, at home, um, so there was no 50th birthday party for me. So I missed that milestone, because of COVID. So for me, I'm still just doing me, trying to maintain, health and wealth and things of that nature. So, but becoming conscious of it has inspired me to have these conversations with the S types in my life because then I'm like, hey, we need to be prepared for when stuff happens. And we need to have a plan on how that looks. And in the event of my demise, we need to talk about how that happens. Although that last part is a conversation that's always triggering whenever we have it, and we have to do it in parts because but being a warrior, we always think death is imminent. So we take every day and live it to the fullest because we don't know what tomorrow's not promised. So we try to do the best we can for as long as we can. And so for that question, that first question, yeah, that's why I am. It's just really putting it into perspective for me because I just didn't expect it to I didn't expect to get old. And I won't necessarily say old. I didn't expect to get seasoned. For somebody to walk in someplace and say, "Hey, sir, would you like to have my seat?" And I'm like, "Who the fuck is you talking to me?" I'm like, "I'm not old enough to what the fuck?" Yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm living it. So yeah, thank you, Master Celestia.
Well, being the baby of the group of all of us, um, being the baby of the group, and most of my submissives are all older than me. Um, and most of my S types are all I deal with the other side of the healthcare aspect and the aging aspect. So I tend to be the caregiver of it. And have the other side of the conversation where I'm talking to them and we're having the conversation of what it looks like for them. And while I am younger and I have health issues and I have an autoimmune condition, um, I don't tend to let that hold me back. When I first was diagnosed with my autoimmune condition, it did ground me for a second, but I was like, I could live with pain. pain is going to be there forever in my life, but I'm not going to let it define my life. So I chose to get up and do me, because if I'm going to be in pain, it's going to be by my choice. So I just got out of bed and decided that I was going to live my life. And I let that be the example to my S types. My S types have health issues and have, they're aging. I had, my co-head of house, he's in his 50s. I transitioned a slave out of my house who was in her 50s. She went to another household. Um, and she's in end stage renal failure. Um, I have S types that have psoriatic arthritis. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I have different health conditions in my household. That in fact that just come with age and growing old. And we redefine what that looks like by taking body assessments every day. What can we do today? Because some days are better than others. And we take that body assessment every day. I have them give me that body assessment. And I tell them, do your best every day. And if your best is you can get out of bed and you can go to work, but you can't really do the dishes that night, but you'll do them in the next morning, okay, then the dishes get done the next morning. Because sometimes that's what you got to do. I'm a realist like that.
Mm.
And, when I have S types that have degenerative knees and back problems, I have to look at that. I have to realize that they're human. I can't just crack a whip and be like demanding that they do it. So it's being realistic in the situation and knowing that if they want to serve,
Mm-hmm.
they want to do their absolute grade A best every day. And you have to affirm to them that it's okay that their grade A best is that they got the fuck out of bed and that they got dressed, that they made their bed, that they went to work that day. Because sometimes it's hard. The cup is low, the spoons are low. And reaffirming them in those moments can give them that extra spoon to get something else done. So when I think about healthcare and aging, I'm a realist and I just affirm them that they've got this and they're doing the best that they can. And I look at what's realistic for them.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you made a couple of points that I forgot about. In fact, all of you did. I remember the first time someone announced that I was an elder in the community. I think I kind of freaked out. I was like, elder? And then I started like going in the dictionary and going into African culture to find out exactly when do you technically considered as an elder, because I was really appalled at being called an elder. Yeah. So that goes that part, and I did definitely agree with you with having to change um how service looks when you have S types. Like my S types, I have S types that's younger than me and older than me. Um, so my S types that are my people that are older than me, I have to adjust. Like my slave, she wants to be the slaviest slave of them all. But before her weight loss journey, she couldn't get on her knees, and in her head she could get on her knees, but the allowing her to get on her knees, I had to say to myself, how much time am I going to have to take to get her off of her knees if I demand for her to be on her knees, to get on her knees? So you have to kind of like weigh out that scenario and make those adjustments. I have people in my house that have battled with alcoholism and drug use. So I have to be cognizant of what those things have done to them mentally and have done to them physically when I have to when making assessments to what can they do. I'll give you an example. Um, Having control of being in I wouldn't say remission, but being um, recovering from alcoholism. I try to make sure that some of the things that we do as a household is not always in a bar, because I have to not only watch my people, but watch if they're being triggered by the environment that they're in. So as a D type, we have to really pay attention to the mental capacity of what we're engaging in with the people that we engage with. So thank you.
Thank you for that. So question number 2. Can you share any personal experiences or insights on how incorporating discussions and practices related to healthcare and aging has enhanced the intimacy and connection within your DS dynamic? Who would like to start us off?
I'll give it
I
to
can
you,
start
man.
that one.
Okay, good.
All right.
Everybody's quiet today.
So I'm a bad influence. Everybody's being quiet.
Yes.
So the first thing I think that's of primary importance is take care of yourself. Take care of your health, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and in dynamics or even just play. Express your limitations along with your boundaries. It doesn't matter what side of the slash you're on. For me, I use tools that work for me for 2 reasons. One, I like to have contact all the time. The other is lightweight floggers are something I can hang on to. And if I feel like doing 2 or 3 scenes in an evening, I can do that. If I don't make those adjustments for myself, I won't get through 30 minutes.
Mm.
If I have an 18-inch flogger with 27 falls, I'm not going to get 30 minutes down the road because I won't be able to. I won't be able to hang it onto it. It'll be dangerous. So I can say all day long, yeah, I like my small, lightweight floggers because I can be close, but it's a dual purpose. An example is, so we ask S types, right? Do you have an inhaler? Where's your inhaler? As a D type doesn't mean you don't have an inhaler. Where is it? Be upfront about that. Who can administer that? Be aware. You have to be aware of what's going on. And you can't say, well, I haven't needed it so far. I hear that a lot. Where is it? That's the important thing. And any of us can have a change in our health, which can be permanent or temporary. I broke my leg last year. I made adjustments. I still did scenes. Just, take care of yourself, take care of your dynamics, and don't pretend to be at your best when you're not. Be
Ooh.
upfront.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you, Lord. I'm right there too.
Yeah.
But just accents that accents can happen when we're thinking, we're hoping that we're at our best or trying to put our best foot forward. Warriors, we're going to stand up there, do our, do the very best we we possibly can, give it our all. Well, sometimes we're just not in a place we can do that, and being able to say, hey, I'm not there right now, or, this is what I can do right now, but I can't do these other things. Just be upfront and honest and take care of yourself, take care of your submissives, take care of your property. Master Celeste.
When I think about this question, I think about when I incorporate like talking about just like safety. I carry a rescue nebulizer actually in my kit. It's like this big. It's so like if I like screw an inhaler, if you need a nebulizer, I've got the nebulizer treatment like ready to go. So I just like I carry that with me all the time for my people because more than one of us have asthma. When a previous slave of mine was on peritoneal dialysis, that was a discussion that we had to have on what that looked like, and her health care and keeping her her bedroom safe and sanitary at all times, and helping her do those treatments. Really, it comes down to just communicating what you need, and making sure you get the supplies that you need. A lot of healthcare insurances and doctor's office will make sure that you have the supplies that you need, be it gloves, alcohol swabs, bandages, tapes. You just have to talk to them, talk to your healthcare providers. So those aren't expenses that you necessarily have to like make yourself. But I feel like when you do have those conversations with your S types or your D types, it's important to lead with compassion first. They're not your patient. They're your person. I handle medicines for my co-head of house. He's my equal. He's my partner. I deal with medications for my S types. I deal with healthcare for my S types. I deal with healthcare for my children. I deal healthcare for my co-head of house. And it's always compassion first, love first. These are your people. You just want them to be healthy and safe. So I just make sure that like when we're going on trips, hey, do you have your medications? Do you have your rescue stuff? Do we have everything that we need? And I always carry extras on myself because I believe in being prepared even when you need to be over prepared. Just be over prepared for the preparedness. You can never be not over prepared. I'm going to pass to Lord.
When I read this question, I was like, man, I don't know how transparent I need to be, or I'm like, wow, that question really hit home. Um, I hit 50, and then things changed. A lot of a lot of stuff changed. Since I've been 50, I've spent more time in the hospital than I have my whole life. Uh, Stuff will happen, and I'll think, oh, I'm okay. And it'll be my S types that'll tell me, no, this is a little bit more serious than you think. And then I end up week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, a couple of months in the hospital, just trying to get it all back together. So they are a very big part of my health plan because I'm still trying to adjust to training I received when I was younger. So I don't really know if I'm hurt or if I'm injured. So I ask myself those questions sometimes, so I'll be hurting and I'll just power through it because I'm the D type, and I got to set an example. That's no big deal. I got to get up and go, and I won't be feel like Soren said. I won't be feeling, my best, or I'll
Mhm.
get up in the night to go to the restroom, and then I'll fall, and then I won't say nothing, and then Batusa or Onami hear me, and then they're, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine. But actually, I'm not. So I've had to learn to say no. Uh, I don't feel well, or no, um, that didn't. Things are not working out the way I thought they were, and then I get frustrated because I remember here what it feels like to be 20, what it feels like to be 30. I remember, I remember getting up and going on a 50-mile march and didn't have to stretch. Just get
Mhm.
up, grab my pack, let's go. Yes, get this done. And now it's like you got to be crazy if you think I'm finna walk for there ain't no god no no. I ride in the car. I'll catch up with y'all over there. I, you know, and a lot of that plays into a role. Now, when it comes to being in the scene, what I've done is I can tell when something's not right because I know I can go 15 minutes as a demo. I can go 15 minutes and I'm not winded. If I'm practicing, because a lot of people don't practice, I found that out. But when I'm practicing, flogging or anything, and I'm just practicing, I'm like, oh, I can't go 15 minutes. What's wrong? Did I
Mhm.
not drink water? Am I not resting? Is the medication doing something to me? So then I can tell. So then when I am in a scene or I am doing a demo, I know exactly what I can and can't do because I've been practicing. And like Sir Ren said, I have some floggers that are heavy. I got a 2 pound flogger, 2 pounds. I we got 15 minutes. I'm good. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it because this is it for the night. You know, I'm done because it's heavy, and then you're swinging it, and then But I want to do it because they enjoy the thud. So I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, yeah, let me make it happen. But it has started some really in-depth conversations. Now, I'm a D type. I'm the head of household. I run this thing. But Onami, sir, where's your side bag? Where's your medical bag? Sir, where's your medication? And here it is. It's right here. So ironically, last year we saw one of the members of House of Kinky Midfit had a thigh rig on that had all of this stuff in there. I got a thigh rig now that's got all my medications in it when I get ready to go somewhere. So we learn from each other, and then we just we try to incorporate things to do better. Because me having a thigh rig, I still look pretty kind of hard, a little kind of tough. No, I'm not just carrying a medicine bag around with me. It look kind of cool on my thigh. But all of those conversations are necessary to make sure that we're okay. And then here in the Five Rings of Shinobi, we literally, take care of each other. I can't sing the praises of my S type enough because when I was in the hospital, they were there 24/7. So yeah, so it's been a real change growing old.
Mhm. Mm. Mm.
Pastor, wait, who's that? Oh, Master Raw. Yeah, Pastor Master Raw.
Thank you. I'll piggyback on everything that you all said. You covered just about everything. I boil it down to communicating, communication, and transparency. When we deal with the age, when we deal with um, being a caregiver, in order for us to be the best that we can be and to use our mastery, we have to have all of the information. And that goes both ways. I have to, um, and the people that's in my house, um, I have to take a nebulizer treatment every morning. I have to take a nebulizer treatment at night. And when we're doing good morning rituals, um, Hellhound is one of the ones that's always saying, "Master, did you take your you, you didn't forget to take your treatment this morning?" And then we wake each other up with that. I have to have medical appointments for my skin because I have allergies, I have eczema, so I have to do light treatments. And the earlier I go, the more I have time for myself in the rest of the day. So they're waking me up at 6 or 7 o'clock when they get ready to go to work. And if not, then I get a phone call from Master Celestia asking me a question. So that makes me wake up. So yes, we do look out for each other in every way, shape, and form, even when we don't know that we're looking out for each other. Um, and it gets harder as we get older. Lois Salwago mentioned, getting out of bed, and sometimes I think I have to stretch before I go to bed so that I can stretch when I wake up. Because if I don't stretch before I lay down, there may be a problem in the morning. Getting up becomes difficult, more difficult. Um, but as they spend time with you, they catch on and they see that, you know, we see each other's I wouldn't say downfall, but we see each other getting older, and I think that's the beautiful thing about having a leather family and having accountability partners. You do have somebody that's looking out for you and having your best interests in mind. And I think that was one of the reasons why we set up the dynamic the way we do. And having those things in place, um, where you have an incident. I had an incident where a boy came to visit me, and it turned into a whole medical problem where he had a stroke. He felt like he could, but I love the fact that he could come to me and say, "Hey, I said, Eli, I'm not feeling well," instead of holding that to himself, because if I hadn't gotten him to the doctor, it could have been even worse. So I think that it's important for us to have develop an open door policy, develop an avenue for them to talk to us, and us being vulnerable to them, I think allows them to be vulnerable to us, so that's the power exchange that happens. Sometimes you have to sit the authority exchange over to the side and actually exchange power with each other. um, but it's made my dynamics a beautiful thing. Um, and unlike Master Celestia, I don't live with all my people, so check-ins are important to me because one of my I guess I'll be vulnerable here. One of my greatest fear is to die in my house and be in here like 5 and 12 days and nobody know. I want to be, sitting pretty when I'm gone and not rotted. But yeah, it's those conversations that have to be had. And so I make sure that I check in on them and it's reciprocated. But that communication that you desire, that you want, that has to happen first and foremost. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And you kind of sort of went into question number 3, which is, in what ways do you navigate the intersection of vulnerability and strength when addressing healthcare issues and aging within your DS relationship? And how do you maintain a balance that feels empowering for all parties involved? So since you kind of answered it, who would you like to pass that off to?
um I'll pass it to you, Master Celestia.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it for me, it comes down to what we always say, which is communication and transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you got to continue to maintain those open lines of transparent communication. We don't know what we don't know. We're not mind readers as dominants or submissives. Um, the more we know, the more empowered we can be. I don't find it weak as a D type to include my S types in my mental or physical health. I find it actually rather empowering that my S types know about those things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because they can, one, hold me accountable, and two, if something happens, God forbid, to me, and they have to take me to hospital, they can be like, don't give my mistress this, don't give my master that. You know, she's on this thing, she's on this medication. So doctors know what will interact, what won't interact. That, you know, these are things that can save my life or kill my life, and I would prefer to live. They know my allergies, they know everything. We have that level of transparency among us. It's in their contracts that we have that level of transparency with each other, so that, heaven forbid, I have to take them to hospital. This is what they're allergic to. This is what, you know, they take. This is what um they can't take. So that these are their diagnoses. So that if something goes wrong, we can make sure they're okay. Um, and I think it's empowering for everyone to have that power to feel like if something happens, we've got each other's back that securely. Um, that's really all I have for that. Just maintain those open and transparent lines of communication.
Master
Uh,
Celestia, can I say something on that?
yeah,
You mentioned the transparency, especially you mentioned the part about going to the hospital. I encountered that a couple of weeks back. The scariest thing in the world. Speaking of talking about being in, we always talk about being empowered, but to feel powerless is to have emergency situation and you can't give the doctors any information, and because you don't know the person's address, you don't know their their next of kin or their contact person. You know, we sometimes think that it's intrusive to get all of this information from our S types. But whenever you put in that situation where you actually have to interact with the healthcare providers and you don't have anything that you can give them, it is the most. I never felt powerless. Um, so I would never want anyone to go through that. So if I had any suggestions for head of households, or don't think that any answer or any question that you want to know about your people in your house is going to be intrusive, because you're going to need that information. And you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
right. And I know that some households that like want to maintain like a level of sacredness, so to speak, of keeping that separate from like dynamic. They actually, I've seen a house where they've put that stuff in an envelope and sealed the envelope, and they've only ever brought it out in case of an emergency and then open the envelope.
Okay, that is
So
still
there,
work.
you know, there's ways around it if you don't want to have that transparent conversation, but you want to have the information on hand. Like
Yeah.
there's ways to go around it that you have that information on hand. Like cover your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Have the information some way, somehow, even if
Mhm.
you don't want to have that conversation. Like, put it in an envelope, in case of emergency, open this.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that would be a good thing to have that envelope in the beginning. But as you have a house that's established, you're gonna need to have those uncomfortable conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Master Rogers talked about being powerless. Uh, I woke up one morning and talked about Tusai and sent a message to Nami. A typical day, and I sat on the side of the bed to watch TV, and then I was tired. I woke up with a house full of paramedics and Onami and Batusai looking at me, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And I felt completely powerless because I
Mhm.
had no idea what had happened. And I'm looking at them and looking at the paramedics and they're, "Oh yeah, he's back now." And I'm like, "The hell you mean back? Like what? What?" So if I had not have had those active conversations with them, then they wouldn't have been able to tell, if something was
Mm-hmm.
wrong or something. Because then if I would have speech would have been slurred, then they would, is this emergency or is he just tired? Um, is this an emergency or is he just sleeping? But by
Mm-hmm.
having those active conversations, then they're able to say, no, this is completely out of character. Let
Mm-hmm.
me move into an emergency state. Or he's already told me that this could happen. Let me move into the next phase because we've already had these conversations. Now, does it make me feel funny because I put on a cover and I'm supposed to be, you know, I'm the Lord and what I say go and this my shit. Yeah, I feel funny when I wake up and I'm like, I got a house full of people that when I close my eyes, what I thought was a second ago, it was just me, and it's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, the fuck just happened? And it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's you feel like you lost power, but you empower the people that are there to make sure you're okay.
That part.
Whether you on no matter the side of the slash, um, I have a let me be transparent. I have a real complex because they say the worst people to go to the hospital is doctors and nurses. I throw in there paramedics and people who deal with stuff in an emergency situation. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I fall right in that category because then I feel like I know how this is supposed to work and I know the best plan of treatment. But when you unconscious, you don't know a goddamn thing.
That.
Somebody else has got to do what do the thing. So you need to talk to them so that they know. And then it doesn't matter which side of the slash you're on, because if you let me be real, if you fucking die, the people that you left here are in a whole nother state of panic
Yep.
because you died. And if it's something that could have been prevented, the guilt that they're going to be ridden with is going to be unbelievable. Don't
Mm-hmm.
do that. Don't
Yeah.
do that. Go ahead and have those conversations so they have an idea of what's going on so they know where to go with it. Whether they need to give you a pill or if they need to call 911 or talk to them so that they know. And then, you know, regardless of if you dealing with somebody like me, I'm the super martial artist, Navy man. You can't tell me what the fuck to do. I run shit. Shit don't run. Even if you got somebody like me, you be like, my lord, listen, I know who you are, but I just want to know what do I need to do if this happens, and then we can have a real conversation. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a thing when you tell somebody, hey, listen, if you leave me here and you're going, I need to know what to do,
Mm-hmm.
to know how you want me to handle this, because uh, you know I need to know. And so Bajusai and I joke that I'm like, hey, if I die, I'm gonna have a video play, and I'm gonna be knocking on the video on the recording saying, "Let me out of this box," and everybody gonna be freaking out. But it's some people I don't want you to let come to the funeral. No, so don't do that. But you need to have them conversations, whether they're humorous or if they're for real. You need to have those conversations so you can be all right, regardless of the side of the slash. That's my penny logic, my 2 cents.
So Ren,
Thank you. Um, so communication, communication, communication. We've covered it. Still more communication. Um, be willing to be vulnerable. Share the issues. You don't have to give every last detail, but be upfront with folks. Strength comes from vulnerability. I'm working on this myself. I still the vulnerability thing is a bit tricky for me.
Yeah.
Um, um, share what you can do, what you're willing to do, and what you're willing to try in a safe, responsible manner. Health and aging are not the end of your kink. Sometimes they're just the beginning. But I have to say thank you.
for that. We have 5 minutes to go and we have no questions in queue. I will open the floor. If anyone has a question, they can raise their hand.
No question.
Yeah,
No
it
one
went
has
quick.
a question.
There
And
is
we have
one
some good
question.
comments though. There's some
We
good
do.
comments in the
We have
chat.
amazing comments in chat though.
Oh, okay.
Hey, what I really appreciate? I really appreciate my accountability partners because when Master slash Mama Celeste lean into the camera and ask you how you doing for real, you get compelled to be like, oh, I don't feel well. You start talking. Saying this, you start going, okay, I'm about to call Batu side. Yeah. So I appreciate the people that are around me because then they make me accountable for me. I really do. I appreciate Seren because I know he know. I'm like, shit. I started talking about, yeah, I got it. He like, don't play. So I appreciate them because then I can be honest and then they can say, hey, listen, if you feel like this, eat some arugula, you'll be all right, and then you can work through it. So I appreciate so any of the D types that are on. If you don't have accountability partners, get some, or hey, reach out to us and try to become part of the team.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
We have a hand raised and a question in queue. So I'm going to give it to Mistress D.
Oh,
Hello, good evening. I think I had wrote it in there. I didn't know if you saw it or not, but my question is for the HOHs. Do you have an emergency plan, readily available for members of your house and yourself in case of emergency, what to do? And the second question to that is, do you have a list of medication and also things that you're allergic to in case of emergency that you can give if you need to be triaged? And then also, I know some have live-ins, but some don't have live-ins. But how do you navigate the next of kin to contact if there is an emergency, etc.?
Let me jump in here. There's a member, Nick Daring. Nick Daring, I don't know if you guys know her, Daring Nick. Nick Daring, part of the Leather Girls of Color, teaches a class called "Are You Fit for Kink? Are You Fit for Play?" And what she talks about in those classes is the many health issues that you may have, and how do you get ready to be a part of a house, how to, a dynamic, or just simply to have a scene, and what things you need to put in place to make sure you're okay. And you can reach out to me and I can get in contact contact with her and have her do the class for a month or organization, or you can reach out directly to her and get that done. But in those classes, she talk about having the list and saying these medications and these health issues. And she said something one time that freaked me out. She was like, a lot of people don't consider aspirin to be a medication, but if you're on an aspirin regimen, you need to let people know that these things are things that you're taking. So you need to come up with that list. But the easiest way to do it is to have go to one of our classes first, and then take notes, and then implement those things to her. And then if you have any additional questions on implementing something like that in your family, simply reach out. Oh, and then there's also another plug. Sir Guy um, used to be a EMT, and I know he does stuff like that as well. So we do have people in the community that have done stuff like that. We just need to reach out and empower them people to effectively speak on it.
So in case of emergencies, and I'm going to take this a couple ways. Natural emergencies, like in case of fire, earthquake, other natural causes that we have to leave our home for. We actually have plans in place for that, where to meet, where to go, who's getting what things out of the house. We do have that in place. We do have fire boxes, safety boxes. We have lists in cars that are stowed under seats and whatnots that, and taped up so that they're in secure spots, that they're not just getting tossed around and whatnot. So if we need to get someplace safe, those plans are in place. I actually have in my phone next of kin for all of my S types. Whether they are agreeable to liking that next of kin is another story, but I do have their next of kin in my phone for emergency purposes. For emergency purposes, like I ain't gonna be calling their mama on Mother's Day if I don't have to. It's for emergency purposes. But I do have a list of medications and allergies and everything. It's all in their folder. It's in my phone because I keep a digital copy for emergency purposes. So I do keep those things on hand. And I think it's important to keep on hand. Anyone else want to hit on Mr. Steve's questions?
I think you guys covered it really well.
Yeah, I think y'all covered it.
All right. Daniel asked, what can you all say about someone beginning to explore kink in their 60s? This excludes me, so I'm gonna let y'all.
Look at the baby. Tomorrow, I'm gonna let y'all handle it.
Let y'all handle it.
I'm gonna throw this over to the lookalike baby of the group, Seren.
Right.
He the one looking like the baby. So yeah, go take it away, Seren.
Thank you, Laura. So be realistic. Find out what you can and cannot do. Be upfront. If you have health things, regardless of where you consider yourself, what side of the slash you consider yourself, find out what works for you and what doesn't. Try things on your own. If you think, yeah, man, I can get on my knees. All right, in your house, get on your knees. Now get back up. How did that work? Just try things. Don't be afraid to try. Don't overestimate. You're getting started. If you're not eating well, if you're not exercising, if you're mentally not in a good place, take care of those things. Make that part of your process. Be in the best health that you can possibly be in, all the way around. And it all matters. What you put in your mouth matters. What you put in your head matters. How you exercise matters. Do everything you can to make yourself the best that you can be for where you're at. And just be realistic with that.
And take a blanket everywhere you go.
Of course, you got to get wrapped up in your blanket.
Take a blanket everywhere you
Oh, and you might need a nap. So,
right.
have a blanket for your nap too. You can always roll it up and use it as a pillow.
You might need a nap. You might need to cover up some things. Yeah. Yeah. Take a blanket. Some seats may be too hard to sit on after you finish. You can't bounce back. If you get spanked, you can't bounce back like you used to. Sit on your blanket. Blanket is good for everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. After you turn, you're in your 60s, you start you got to be a good lioness. Take your blanket everywhere you go.
Yeah, you got a comment there, Master Eli. Did you see it?
No, what
It
happened?
says Master Eli is a smart aleck.
That's from Dan.
That's me. Yep. No, for real. Take a blanket everywhere you go. Keep a blanket with you.
Yeah. And those are all of our questions for today. Real quick, I do want to let us know what's going on for this upcoming week before we don our covers. So coming up, so there is nothing going on this Wednesday. How that happened, I'm not sure.
No.
No.
Nope.
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 Nothing's happening. Slave Talk is the 29th this month.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So there's
That's right.
nothing happening tomorrow.
Oh, well, I gotta do something then.
Oh, Master Eli's got something planned. He's gonna do it.
Yeah.
He's gonna
I
drag
guess
Lord with him because Lord's working on something.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness! I knew she was
Yeah.
gonna throw me.
I'm glad that you announced that. Yes, I will be doing a pillow talk, and my co-host will be Lord.
That's
So
exactly what's happening on Wednesday, guys.
that's what's happening. Thank you very much.
Yep. And then on Thursday, Daytime Dynamics always airs around 6 a.m. And this Wednesday, particularly, the Leather Boy of Colors book club will be airing at 7:30 p.m.
Ooh, there you go.
On Thursday?
On Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday.
Yep. And then I am reading Berenstein Bears Forgot Their Manners this week.
Ooh.
On Friday. And then we'll be back Monday with Meerkat Monday with Master Eli Wara. And then Tuesday we have the Kinky Conversations with the Kink Collective. Beyond the Caller is going to be doing Handling Conflict in Dynamics on Tuesday. And then our next one is going to be, Beyond the Caller is going to be doing Establishing Rituals and Protocols within Dynamics. And our next one is Intimacy in the Bedroom and the Lines Between DS and Other Relationships.
Ooh. Hmm.
And that is what's coming up in the village. So with that, gentlemen, let us don our covers. And I would like to thank you all who joined us here today. And all of you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you next time on Uncovered Conversations.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Saranara.
Bye.